Hello everyone, and welcome to a very nice game that was played yesterday in the 6th Lichess titled Arena. It's a game between Grandmaster Andrew Tang and Grandmaster Magnus Carlsen, World Chess Champion. I'm sure you're gonna enjoy the game as it's quite interesting, and although it's a bullet game 1 minute per player with no increment, the game is surprisingly high quality. No blunders were made in this game, and it features a very nice opening, the Czech Benoni, which I'm very fond of. So before we check out the actual game, we do have a nice photo challenge for this video. As this is a game from the 6th Lichess titled Arena, I thought we'd make the photo challenge a bit thematic. So here you go. Who is the gentleman in the photo? The t-shirt is a bit of a tell, but I don't think it will be too easy for you. So there you have it. Best of luck to everyone, and now let's check out the game. As you know, Carlsen won the first 4 Lichess titled arenas, and then he donated the money back every time. And then for the 5th Lichess titled arena, I believe the first prize was some $3,000. But I think he started playing the 5th Lichess titled arena, but he did not finish it. I think he had some connection issues, and then he just gave up on it. It was actually Andrew Tang here, with the handle GM Penguin IM1, who won this event. So for this 6th Lichess titled arena, the first prize is $500. So, knowing that, let's check out the game. Andrew has the white pieces, and he opens with d4. We're not going to analyze it per se, since it's a bullet game, but we are going to show the game and check out some of the ideas. Knight to f6, c4, c5. Carlsen goes for the Benoni defense. We have d5. And now, not going for e6, which is the standard modern variation of the Benoni, but rather e5, the Czech variation of the Benoni, or the Czech Benoni. Here, knight to c3, we have d6, and now e4. Carlsen goes g6, prepares to fianchetto his dark square bishop, g3, bishop to g7, bishop to g2, and castles. Knight to g2, e2. Andrew has a nice grip on the f4 square. He wants to castle, push f4. So knight b to d7 by Carlsen. We have castles, and here a6. And now a standard move when you're playing against the Benoni. Andrew pushes a4, doesn't allow Carlsen to push b5. And here it's never an easy task to find a move for black when playing the Benoni, especially in a bullet game. But Carlsen goes for the best idea, knight to h5. He prepares f5, f4 by Andrew, and now e captures on f4. We have for some reason the sound just came back, so sorry about that. After e captures on f4, you could play knight captures on f4, but Andrew decides to go for g captures on f4. It creates a very nice pawn center, and also moves like e5 or f5 will be available in the future. But it allows Carlsen to go for f5 himself. So e captures on f5, rook captures on f5, and now knight to e4 is an idea here to go for the g4 square. Andrew goes for bishop to e3. Carlsen goes knight d to f6. We have knight to g3, offering a trade of knights here, so Carlsen accepts this. Knight captures on g3, h captures on g3, and now Carlsen does have to do something about this rook, as g4 is a threat. If you don't go for rook to h5 or h5, then g4 will trap the rook on f5. So instead of h5, Carlsen goes for rook to h5, which is the best idea. Bishop to f3, attacking the rook on h5, and now comes rook to h3. King to g2, attacking the rook, but the rook is guarded, basically only making room for this rook to come to h1. h5, and here the best idea for white here is bishop to f2 to keep an eye on the g3 pawn, or rook to h1 to immediately go for the rook exchange. Andrew goes queen to d2, and now Carlsen takes advantage of this very nicely. He pushes h4. G captures on h4, and now knight to h5, and this is the idea. Now you don't have time to capture on h5, because if you capture here, then queen captures on h4, and there is no defense. Either queen to g3 checkmate is coming, or rook to h2 with check that will win the queen on d2, and of course the game. So after knight to h5, we have rook to h1, but now rook to h1 is much too late. Carlsen plays queen captures on h4, and now if you capture the rook here, then you get bishop captures with check. King moves, and now queen g3 check, bishop here, and now simply bishop captures, queen captures on e3 with check. White will be up a piece in a completely winning game. So after queen captures on h4, knight to e4 was played by Andrew, not allowing queen g3, as the knight is now guarding the g3 square. And here, if you play something like bishop to f5 to maybe remove the defender of the g3 square, then white will be able to defend with queen to f2. And then now after knight captures, bishop captures, rook captures, and queen captures, white will be able to go into an endgame. For example, after bishop to d3. Of course, it will still be much better for black, but you know, he will still have to work for his meal, and as it is a bullet game, you don't want to allow white any chances like these. So after knight to e4, bishop to g4 was played, and now the same idea doesn't apply, but there's really nothing better here. For example, if you capture, let's say you go for queen to f2, this was played in the game. Here Carlsen played queen captures on f2, but even bishop captures on f3 was sufficient with check, because now after queen captures, you can go rook captures, and after rook captures simply capture the bishop on e3, and after knight captures on d6, white would still of course try something. It's a bullet game, but being down a piece, a whole bishop here, no chances for white here. So after queen to f2, Carlsen simply chose the simplest way, but also the strongest idea, queen captures on f2. Here, knight captures on f2 was played, and now comes rook to g3 check. This is probably a move that was missed. King to f1, and now rook captures on f3. Knight can't capture on g4 because it's pinned, so rook to e1. And now again the strongest maneuver, knight g3 check, checking the king and forking the rook on h1. King g2, knight captures, we have knight captures on g4, and now comes rook to g3, and after king captures, rook captures, but it was already in this, I believe it was in this position on move 28 that Andrew Tang resigned in the game, as after captures, we have a position where black is up a whole rook. Still, it's a rook on a8, but it's a whole rook. Once you develop it, there's no point in continuing this game, and I don't believe he was even better on time at this position. So yeah, after rook to g3 check, he resigned the game, and a very nice victory for Magnus Carlsen. I will put a link to Andrew Tang's YouTube channel so you can check out this game. He was streaming the entire event, the entire 2 hours of the 6th Lichess titled Arena. So you can check it out, you know, with some of his commentary and some of the other games he played if you desire. So this game starts at the 22 minutes and 30 seconds mark, I believe, but I will also put a link to it and the minute mark in the description below, so you can just click on it if you're interested. And for some final standings, here are the final standings of the 6th Lichess titled Arena. As you can see, GM damnsaltythatsport, which is Magnus Carlsen's third handle on Lichess, so for as far as we know. Then in second place, GM Rebecca Harris, which I believe is Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky, but not sure. And then Grandmaster Night King 96. Obviously a Game of Thrones fan. Then we have EM Operwezen, Vincent Rotaios of Netherlands, Baba Ramdev, that's Achka Chandra, and in sixth place Andrew Tang, who almost managed to climb to the first 3 places, but he didn't. But it doesn't matter, as he won the 5th Lichess titled Arena with the prize money, the highest ever that Carlsen kept donating, which was, I believe, $3,000. But yeah, here the first place was $500. Magnus Carlsen donated it back. So for the 7th Lichess titled Arena, I'm pretty sure we can expect at least $1,000 first place. So yeah, and as I've heard, GM damnsaltythatsport, Carlsen's third handle, already has over 1,000 followers on Lichess. So, you know, I will put a link to the tournament in the description as well, if you want to browse through some of the games, or maybe, you know, follow some of these strong players. And also, I prepared this. This is As you can see, Penguin, IM1 and damnsaltythatsport played 4 games in this 6th Lichess title arena. Magnus Carlsen won all 4 of them. And here you have some statistics from this game that they've played. So Penguin made 7 inaccuracies, 7 mistakes, 0 blunders, and Carlsen made 6 inaccuracies, 1 mistake, and 0 blunders. So not bad by both of them, you know, for a bullet game. There you have learn from your mistakes. If you see this button, which is a feature on Lichess, after you play a game, you can check out any of your moves, and Stockfish9 will be very happy to point you in the right direction. So there you have it, that's the game. I do hope you enjoyed it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and like I said, all of the useful links will be in the description below, so feel free to check them out. And I will hide the person from the photo challenge somewhere in the description if no one figures it out, so look for it there. So thank you all, and I'll see you soon tomorrow with the last 2 games of the Bobby Fischer series 1970 tournament in Palma de Mallorca. So thank you all, I'll see you soon.